All right, what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are enjoying your day. So, 10 weeks are in the books for the NFL season, and I gotta tell you, I don't know what to make of this season. I don't know what to make of any of this. I don't know what to make of the teams. I don't know what to make of these games, and I really don't know what to make of this season overall. This truly feels like the year of the upsets, because every week we're seeing multiple teams get upsetted in these games. This year has truly been the definition of any given Sunday. I just don't know what to expect. And it's exciting to see as a football fan. But, as a fan of my own team, that's been very nerve-wracking because we got caught slacking a couple times, especially last week. And yeah, week 10 was a perfect example of it being any given Sunday and for upsets happening all over the league. To start off with, we see on Thursday Night Football, the Baltimore Ravens, who went down to Miami, they went there and got embarrassed. The Dolphins upset the Ravens. If you're not a Dolphins fan, you were not expecting that to happen. Most people expected the Ravens to win. They were favored, and they got embarrassed on the road. For some reason, it looked like they just couldn't solve cover zero. They couldn't solve a cover zero blitz the entire game. Are you kidding me? They just got embarrassed on all factions. Then again, if you're a Ravens fan, can you really be surprised? Because this Ravens team has been the most inconsistent Ravens squad not just Ravens squad, just inconsistent team in the NFL in general this season. Because we don't know what to make of this team. If you've been watching them every week, they just play different. You don't know what to expect of them. And if you're a Ravens fan, you really don't know what to expect from this offense or this defense on a weekly basis. They've had multiple double-digit comebacks. They had the one outlier where they destroyed the Chargers, and then they get embarrassed by the Dolphins on the road. You don't know what to make of this team. This is definitely one of the most inconsistent Ravens squads I've seen in quite some time. But as a whole, they're the most inconsistent team in the league. I mean, you just don't know what you're going to get from the Ravens. And I feel like it's just going to continue this way for the rest of this season. But yeah, that was a major upset. People didn't expect that to happen, especially not in that fashion. But yeah, you start off the week like that, then you get to the Sunday games, and you see a team like Washington, who, by the way, I had a lot of faith in. Well, not a lot of faith in, but a lot of hope coming into this season, because I believe that defense would be the reason Washington would end up in the playoffs. However, that defense has disappointed me for much of this season. So tuning into this game here against the Bucs, I did not expect them to pull off the upset, but they did. They kept Brady in check, and in some key moments of the game, Brady looked pedestrian. So I got to give them the credit. Washington pulled off the upset. I tuned into that game not expecting them to win, and they pulled off the upset. So that just goes to show you how the season has been so far. Upsets everywhere. By the way, an upset like that does not come without cost, because the football gods this season have been very vengeful with a lot of teams. So the Washington football team was able to get the win against the Bucs and pull off the upset, but it came at the cost of Chase Young. So prayers up for Chase Young. He tore his ACL. His season is done. Hopefully he'll have speedy recovery, and we'll see him on the field next season. But yeah, the best defensive player is just gone for Washington. Great. Fantastic. But yeah, you see an upset like that happen, and now you got someone like me having a little bit more hope in them somehow turning their season around and pulling off a wild card spot, but who knows if that's going to happen. But yeah, you see an upset like that. You get the game between the Patriots and the Browns, where the Browns got completely destroyed. Baker also got hurt in that game, but that team got completely annihilated. The Patriots dominated that game. And speaking of the Patriots, another team we got to talk about. Because while the Ravens have been the definition of inconsistency over the last several weeks, the Patriots have been the definition of consistency over the last several weeks. This team has been getting it together over these last several games. While everyone else in the AFC has been going up and down and figuring themselves out, the Patriots have been slowly building themselves back up. Slowly building themselves back up. And now they're within range. They're fighting for a playoff spot, but they're also nipping at the heels of the Buffalo Bills. Bills are 6-3, Patriots are 6-4. So the AFC East is far from over. The Patriots could sneak up and steal the crown. So, yeah, they've been great, and that is a team I really do fear because they are the definition of consistency in the AFC right now. Offensively and defensively, they play consistent football. And that's the one scariest thing you don't want to deal with in the postseason. A consistent team all around in the postseason is a tough opponent to deal with. And that is a team that can go far. So watch out for the Patriots. They are definitely dangerous. But yeah, you get a game like that. Then you get whatever you want to call this craziness between the Lions and the Steelers. Granted, the Steelers were without Ben, but I don't even know what to make of this. A tie, a 16-16 tie. It felt like neither one of these teams wanted to win the game. They just took turns giving the game away. That fourth quarter was disgusting, and overtime was even worse. I just don't know what to make of this game. This is probably the greatest game. I don't even know what to say. This was crazy. But yeah, there was no upset there. It was just crazy to see our first tie of the season happen here in a disgusting fashion. Then you got the Carolina Panthers going up against the Arizona Cardinals, and the Panthers dominated the Cardinals. Granted, the Cardinals did not have Kyler, nor did they have DeAndre Hopkins. So, it does come without, it does come within that context that they didn't have their quarterback or their best receiver. But the Panthers have not been a great team for much of this season. And this was really special for the Panthers because this was Cam Newton's first game back in Carolina, being the quarterback for them. Obviously, he didn't get the start, but, that went to Walker. But, he's going to get the start for the next game. They're looking towards it, and I believe the next game they're playing is Washington. So, man, that's going to be rough. So the first start he's probably going to get this season will be against his former coach because we do have Ron Rivera in Washington. That should be an interesting matchup. But yeah, the Panthers destroyed the Cardinals. Not only was that the biggest win they've had this season, but that was the most amount of points they put up this season. What a coincidence. You get Cam Newton back, and all of a sudden your offense can do something. And Cam had 2 touchdowns here. His first snap with the team, rushing touchdown. His second snap with the team, passing touchdown. I mean, the dude went out there, and in the few snaps he played, he was great. He was great. And they dominated this Cardinals team. Didn't expect to see that happen. I mean, it was just craziness all around. You get to Sunday Night Football, and this wasn't really an upset, but now you got to worry about the Chiefs again because they seem to have found their groove. They destroyed the Raiders. Mahomes had the best game of the season for him. Over 400 yards passing and 5 touchdowns. What a performance by him. The Chiefs seem to have found their groove, and now, after being at the bottom of their division over the last couple weeks, they're back to first place in the AFC West. So now everything's starting to look normal again in that division. Chargers losing, hurts them there. Raiders getting beat like this, hurts them there. Denver taking another L, that hurts them there. And now the Chiefs are right back up. I don't know what to tell you, man. Cowboys dominating the Falcons. That's not much of a surprise, especially because the Cowboys are a really great team. Honestly, I saw that coming because the game they had against Denver last week was just atrocious. They needed to get themselves together, and it felt like Dak just that was the worst game of his career. And it just felt like he wasn't fully ready to play, but he came ready to play, and this team definitely came ready to play against the Falcons. So they managed to pull that off right there. Titans holding on to beat the Saints. Colts taking down the Jaguars. I mean, there was a lot of craziness through and through with these games. You had the whatever you want to call this too. The matchup, I guess, between the Packers and the Seahawks. Russell Wilson's first game back since suffering that injury and being out the last couple weeks. That man went out there and played like he had not played football in the last several weeks. It clearly showed he did not play football for the last several weeks because he did not play well. The offense couldn't generate anything. They went out there and put up 0 points against the Packers. Meanwhile, you look at the way the Packers offense was, and honestly, you can't sit back and say they were great either, because Aaron Rodgers also looked like he missed some time. I mean, he definitely did not play well. Neither one of these quarterbacks played well in this game. but the Packers were just more ready to play than the Seahawks. So ultimately, they were able to put up points, and the Seahawks gave us a donut. So I don't know what to tell you. That game was crazy too because I at least expected it to be more competitive, and I picked the Seahawks in that one because I thought Russell Wilson would come out firing because he's been away from football, so he's ready to go. But they came up with nothing. Nothing. Not to mention, both Rodgers and Wilson traded picks in the end zone, so that was interesting to see. And then you get to the crazy monstrosity that was Monday Night Football between the Rams and the Niners, and you see the Rams once again get beat down. They got beat down last week against the Titans, where you had Stafford throw 2 picks. One of them was for a pick 6. And then again, with this game, he does the same thing. He tries to force a pass to Odell. It gets picked off. It was basically an arm punt. And then on another pass, which wasn't even his fault, it was completed. It's just the receiver could not hold on to it properly. That ends up getting picked and gets returned for 6. So in back-to-back weeks, Stafford throws multiple picks, and in both those games, he threw a pick 6. I don't know what to tell you, man. The Rams, once again, look pedestrian. That defense could not make a stop. They could not stop the running game of the Niners. I don't know what to tell you, man. It's weird watching the Niners dominate a team, but then you look at Jimmy Garoppolo and you see how he played, and you're like, he didn't really play as well as you expect him to. Well, that's how the Niners have been winning, so it is what it is. But yeah, it's just craziness all around the league. This has been a very, very interesting season. It's been a brutal season as well because the football gods have been completely merciless, man. They've been very, very aggressive towards all these players and all these teams this year. But it's also been very interesting to see some of these matchups because we're getting upsets left and right. At this point, I don't care where you rank in the NFL. You're not out of it if you're a below team, and you're not guaranteed to win if you're a team above 500. Anybody can win any given Sunday, and this year is definitely showing it. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about some of that craziness, man. Week 10 was crazy, and right now, I don't know what to make of this NFL season. I really don't. It's been crazy. But we'll see what happens when we go on to week 11. It should be interesting matchups there. We'll talk about that relatively soon. But we'll see what happens with that. Anyway, with that being said, that is all I got, and I'm out of here, man. Peace!